Hi. We're going to work on various parts of the body today, but everything's going to be on the mat and you don't need any props with you, no resistance bands or balls. So start by coming down onto your back and we're going to very gently hug one knee and the other into your chest. Give yourself a rock from side to side. Nice big deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. And then keeping the outside of your big toes together, put your hands onto your kneecaps and then stirring your legs. So they're like two separate spoons. I'll show you from this angle as well. So you're keeping the big toes just gently touching. You can let the legs move on their own or you can guide them with your hands. Getting as much range of movement as you can in one direction, breathing into it and then reverse it and go back the other way. So nice big deep breaths in and out. And then resting one foot to the floor and the other. Have your legs parallel. You want the knees tracking straight out of your pelvis so the legs are parallel. Heels are as close as you can get them comfortably to your bottom. Arms lightly down on the floor beside you. Taking a deep breath in. As you breathe out, start to push into your feet. Tuck your tailbone off. And we're very gently peeling ourselves all the way up to the tips of your shoulder blades. Reach your knees over your toes. Push down through your big toes. Deep breath in at the top. And breathe out, soften from your breastbone, slowly curling yourself back down one vertebra at a time. So as you get into a rhythm with this, you want to breathe out, come up. Breathe in as you pause. And breathe out to roll back down again. Okay, so each time you move, you're trying to make space between your vertebrae. And we're not thrusting our hips up as high as we can to the ceiling. We want a nice straight line between your shoulders, hips, through to your knees. So reach those knees over your toes. Imagine you're drawing your heels up closer to your bottom. And we're really light through the arms. You could have your elbows down, hands on the front of your hips, or even your arms straight up to the ceiling. Taking a breath in at the top and breathe out. So do 3 more of these in your own time, trying to keep the legs as still as you can as you peel up. When you get up, you're heavy through the back of your shoulders, not through your neck. So try and weight down through the back of your shoulders. And nice big deep breaths in and out as you roll up and down. Breathing into it, gently squeeze your bottom at the top. And then curling back down. Let's do one more. So deep breath in at the bottom. Breathe out, tuck that tailbone, slowly start to peel yourself up. Reach the knees over your toes. Deep breath in and breathe out, soften yourself back down again. Very gently bring one knee into your chest and the other. And give yourself a little hug. Lovely. Next we're going to do our knee drops. So I'll show you from this angle. You're going to have your feet parallel again. So knees are tracking straight out of your pelvis. Hands on the bony bits at the front of your hips. And then we're dropping one knee out to the side, turning onto the outside edge of that foot. Breathe out, breathe in to bring the leg back. We're alternating from side to side. When you do it, you're keeping the opposite side set. So the hip stays anchored to the mat. The knee stays pointing up to the ceiling and the big toe is pushing gently down into the floor. So you want to feel like you're opening up the knee as far as you can, but without all of your weight shifting over onto that side. You're able to still keep the opposite side set and in the same position. So breathing out to open, breathe in to come back. Notice if there's a difference on one side than the other. You may have a bigger range of movement on one leg. And we're doing one more on each side. And now I want you to come back to the center. This time we're bringing one leg up into tabletop, taking the leg out to the side, bring it back to tabletop, meaning a 90-degree angle with your knee, and place the foot down. Switch to the other side. So lift the leg off, knee is directly above your hip, 90-degree angle with the knee, take the leg out, back to the center, rest it down, switching from side to side. So gently draw your belly button down towards your spine. If you feel like you're overarching your lower back, then just try to keep that tummy gently drawing downwards. So that point between your pubic bone and your lower ribs and one hip bone and the other. Imagine you're pulling all of those 4 points together and drawing that belly button down towards your spine. Lovely. We're doing one more on each side. Breathing into it. And resting that leg down. Lovely. Now we're going to come to our bugs. So we're going to bring one arm up to the ceiling and the opposite leg up into tabletop. Okay, so again, that 90-degree angle with your knee. Taking a breath in, breathe out, lengthen the arm and leg away from each other. Breathe in to bring them back to the centre. So the leg goes as low as you can get it to the floor, as long as there's no change in your lower back. So if you feel like you're having to overarch, then take the leg higher or draw the belly button down to get that control. If you can't get the control and you feel like you're lifting away from your lower back, take the leg higher, okay? So we're breathing out to lengthen, breathe in to come back. If anyone wants to work harder in this, come up onto the tiptoes on the other foot. So you haven't got the foot flat on the floor, you've got the heel lifted. So breathing out and breathe in. The other hand is lightly on the floor or on the front of your hip. Last 4, 3, 2, breathe out to open up, breathe in to come back. And last one. And then resting that foot down. Again, come up onto the tiptoes if that's okay for you. Lift the heel, bring the opposite leg up into tabletop, and the arm breathing out to lengthen, breathe in to come back. Okay, so that leg is straightening out first and then lowering towards the ground. If there's any extra lift in your lower back and you can't control it, take the leg higher. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Resting that foot down, and then just have a long stretch out for a moment, arms and legs away from each other. Give your bottom a wiggle from side to side. Deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, and then we're bending our knees, coming back with your heels as close as you can get them comfortably to your bottom. Knees are tracking straight out of your pelvis. Interlace your hands behind your head and your thumbs are running down the side of your neck. Lift your elbows so you can see them. And then we're coming into our chest lift. So taking a breath in, breathe out as you lift off, start to push into your feet. Nice long neck, and then we're bringing ourselves up as high as you can without any change in that neck position. So we're not pinching our chin to our chest. We're breathing out to lift off, keeping that nice long neck. And ideally, your head is light in your hands. If your neck feels like it's working very hard, try to draw your belly button down towards your spine and make the work happen from your tummy rather than your head feeling like you're yanking your head up in order to let yourself lift. Okay, so if you need to, make your head a bit heavier in your hands, but if possible, keep the head light, and we're drawing that belly button down, looking straight up to the ceiling. Breathe out to lift off, breathe in to come down. If you're happy here, stick with this. The next option would be to lift off and then reach the arms on either side of the legs, hands back to your head, resting back down. So breathing out to lift off, reach the arms, keep that nice long neck, resting back down. And 5, push down through your big toes, draw your belly button down. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Well done, resting down, and again have a long stretch out, lengthen your legs, reach your arms up and overhead. You could do a banana stretch here if you want to, so shuffle your feet and your arms over to the right, keep your bottom where it is, and then if you want to, hook that left foot over your right ankle, and you'll feel a big stretch down your left side. If that feels uncomfortable on your knee, then take the foot off, don't hook it. Breathing into it. And then relax on that side, shuffle everything over to the left, keep your bottom where it is. And then if you want to add to it, hook that right foot over your left ankle this time. Deep breaths. And then come out of that stretch. And then we're going to come over onto our side. So if when you come onto your side, you feel like your head is hanging and you can't keep a straight neck, okay, so what I mean by that is you're looking straight ahead without the head dropping, then get yourself a cushion or a towel, and you want to feel like you're lying so that you're looking straight ahead without hanging, dropping your head down. So we're stacking our ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and you want to look and check that your heels are in line with your bottom, okay? So it's about a kind of 60-degree angle with your knees. Coming down, and then on your side, put your hand onto your top hip, lift your feet off the floor, and we're going to start with our opening, so our clam 2. So you're breathing out to open up the knee, breathe in to close it down. Now on our side, we're trying to make a little space under your lower waist, so push that top hip away and feel that underside slightly lift, and try and keep that little space all the time. Your top hip is staying still, so if you open and feel like you're rocking back, then you've gone too far. Okay, so breathing out to open, breathe in to close the knee back down again. Slightly lifting that lower waist, relaxing your jaw, breathing into it. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then rest the leg down, bend that top leg up, give that hip a break for a moment and a little hit or massage if it needs it. And then coming back, and then we're keeping our bottom leg bent, lengthen your top leg out long, relax your toes, and we're circling our legs. So we're making nice big circles. Again, keep this top hip still. So if it's rocking backwards and forwards, make the circles smaller. So relaxing the toes, leading with your heel, making nice big circles in one direction. Lifting that lower waist still slightly. Okay, so I want to be able to slide a piece of paper underneath your waist. Deep breaths, last 2 and 1. Now reversing it. So breathing into it. Imagine a piece of paper or a board at the bottom of the mat and you're making that circle with your heel. Last 4, 3, 2, and last 1. And then bend that top leg up and give it a break. And then we're going to come into an opening here called round the world. So bending the knees, put your head right on the edge of your cushion or towel if you've got one. Reach your arms out in front of you, palms on top of each other. And then we're breathing in to reach the top arm away. Breathe out to open it up, turn to look to that arm, and you're trying to get the back of that hand down to the floor. If you can't reach and it feels a lot on your shoulder, just bring the arm a little bit lower so it's nearer your hip rather than straight out from your shoulder, and just breathe into it. And then coming back over. Once more, deep breath in, reach that top arm away, breathe out to open up. And on this one, Once you're relaxed down, if you want to add to it, you could straighten out your top leg, so lengthen that leg away. Keep the knee bent if it doesn't feel comfortable, and just breathe. Try and get everything to relax down to the floor. And then coming back over. And then we're going to come onto your other side. So I'm just going to shift myself up the other end of the mat and then turn over onto your other side. Bring the cushion or towel with you if you're using one. And we're starting with our clam 2 again. So just check your heels are in line with your bottom. You've got that little lift in your lower waist. Hand onto your top hip and then lifting your feet. Breathing out to open up your top knee. Breathe in to close it back down. So we're looking straight ahead. We're not looking down at our legs. And you want to feel that top hip is staying still. Yes, it will lift. You'll feel the bony bit stick up into your fingers a bit, but you don't want to feel like the whole hip rocks backwards as you lift off. Last 5. Breathe out to open, breathe in to close. 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then rest that leg down, bend your knee for a moment if you need, before we come into our leg circles. So we're keeping that bottom leg bent, lengthening your top leg long, relaxing the toes, and then start to circle that leg round. Again, remembering that little lift in your lower waist. Breathing into it. Try and make the circle as smooth as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, bend that top leg up and give it a break. And then we're reaching our arms out in front, bending both knees, palms on top of each other. Breathe in to reach your top arm away. Breathe out to open yourself back out. Try and get the back of the hand to the floor. And just hold it there for a few breaths. And then coming back over once more, deep breath in to reach away. Breathe out to open up. And again, that add-on is possible if you want to reach the top leg away. So straighten it out and sink down into the mat. And then coming back over. And we're now going to turn onto our front. So start with your hands, just your arms out in front of you, and they're just a little bit away from your shoulders, so that they're not right out, so that your head's got no space. Take the hands a little bit apart, legs are a little bit apart, and then we're keeping the forehead down, and we're going to lift an arm and opposite leg. Okay, so as you do that, we're switching from side to side. I want you to tuck your tailbone under. So imagine the tailbone is reaching down towards your feet. You're slightly pushing down into your pubic bone, drawing your belly button up towards your spine. So as the arm and leg lift off, the opposite arm and leg, imagine you've got a grape underneath your tummy, your lower tummy, and you're trying not to squash it. Okay, so you're trying to slightly lift away from it. The first option is to keep your head down. If you want to work harder, you're going to lift your head just off the mat, stay looking straight down at the floor. And then the third option would be to speed it up. So either very slow motion and all 4 limbs are in the air at the same time, or a faster version. Okay, and if you're able to do that for short bursts, then you're going to really try and keep that pelvis as stable as possible. So you're drawing your belly button up, And then you're resting down. So maybe come off and take a couple of breaths and then rest yourself back down again. If that feels too much, your lower back is not liking it, take it back a level. So either single arm and leg lifting or a slow motion of the arms crossing each other in the air. Okay, so I want you to keep going. We're going to do 5 more sets. So breathing into it. So either 5 more short bursts if you're doing the speedier version, or 5 more on each side if you're doing single arm and legs. Draw your belly button up, tuck that tailbone. And if it gets too much, just put your hands underneath your forehead, turn your head to the side and just switch the muscles off for a moment. Make this your last one, either 2, 1 on each side, or last burst of energy for the one that's faster. And then put your hands underneath your forehead, turn your head to the side, give your bottom a shift from side to side, switch off the muscles. Well done. And then we're going to come and sit back towards your heels. So have your knees nice and wide, feet together, and then take your bottom back towards your heels, arms out in front of you if it's comfortable, and drop your head down. If it's not comfortable, bring your hands underneath your forehead, or you could have your hands down by your legs if that feels nicer, and just turn your head to the side. So just breathing into it. Try and melt the front of your ribs down towards the mat. Relaxing your face and jaw. Take 2 more deep breaths in and out. And then we're going to come up onto all fours. So I want your wrists underneath your shoulders. Your knees are directly underneath your hips and your knees are hip width apart. Spreading your fingers, take a breath in. As you breathe out, tuck your tailbone, push away from the floor. Lift that belly button up towards your spine and drop your chin down to your chest. Deep breath in and breathe out, drop back through. Shoulders away from your ears, looking ahead. Breathe in as you pause. Breathe out to come back. Scoop your tummy up. In this position, stay arched and very gently rock your bottom back towards your heels, keeping that belly button scooping up, and then come back to the middle and then drop back down, shoulders away from your ears. Once more, breathe in and breathe out. Tuck your tailbone, push away from the floor, look through towards your pubic bone. In that arched position, try and shift your weight back towards your heels. And then come back to the centre and relax down. And now we're going to come into our knee hover. So I want you to tuck your toes under. If you find it very hard to hold your weight on your wrist joints don't like it, you could try taking your hands a bit further away from you, or potentially coming onto knuckles, okay, or possibly even have a soft cushion or a rolled up towel underneath your wrists. Okay, so tucking those toes under, we're lifting the knees just a few centimetres off the mat. Okay, so push into your heels, draw your belly button up, try not to collapse into your shoulders, you're lifting yourself up away from the floor. Holding it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shift your bottom up to the ceiling, push your weight back towards your heels, drop your head through your arms, bending one knee, straightening the other, padding through the feet. So really push the heel down towards the floor. Aim that tailbone up to the ceiling. And then keep the legs still, coming back to your little knee hover. Bring the knees just off the mat. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest down. Give your wrists a break for a moment if you need to. We're doing 2 more sets of this. So if you want to stay up the whole time, you don't want to rest down, that's fine. If you need to rest in between, do. So little tiny knee hover, breathing into it. Switch your tummy on, draw your belly button up, holding it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your bottom up to the ceiling, padding through the feet. Drop your head through your arms, pushing those heels down towards the floor. And then keep the legs still. Come back to that little mini knee hover. Stay there or rest down if you need to. We're doing one more. Holding it just off the mat. Lift away from the floor. So actively push your hands down into the mat. And then take your bottom back up to the ceiling one last time. Padding through the feet. Breathing into it. And then push the heels both down to the mat. And very gently bring one knee and the other down. And then we're going to turn over and come onto your back. So we're going to finish off with a little stretch. So arms out to the sides, palms facing up, legs are glued together, knees bent, and then very gently let the legs fall one way and turn to look the other way. If your shoulders are lifting up off the mat or the back or off the floor, bring your hands a bit lower down towards your sides, otherwise you can have them out from your shoulder height. So just make sure it's comfortable on the back of your shoulders and you can keep them down on the floor. And then squeeze your legs together, come up and over the other way. So you want to use your tummy, use your legs to get the legs to move, not just fling your legs from side to side. One more on each side. Squeeze the legs, squash the lower back down into the mat. And again, once more, other side. And then back to the middle, hug one knee into your chest, lengthen the other leg long, and bring that bent knee across towards the opposite shoulder. If it feels comfortable, hold on at the front on the shin, but if your knee doesn't like that, hold behind your knee. And just try and bring that knee across towards your opposite shoulder. Hold it there. Deep breaths, relax your tongue and jaw. And the other side, hug the knee into your chest, bring it in and across towards the opposite shoulder. Deep breaths. And then relax. And then we're going to come up to sitting, bring the soles of your feet together. And then bring the heels as close as you can comfortably to your pubic bone. If it doesn't feel nice on your knees, take the legs further away and create a bit more of a diamond shape in between your legs. We're going to hold on to the ankles or shins or maybe feet and sit yourself up as tall as you can. Try to actually tip your pelvis forward. So you're arching your lower back a little bit more. Sit yourself up nice and tall from the crown of your head. And try and get those knees to drop a little bit. So you should feel the stretch in your inner thighs and your groin area. So breathing into it. Shoulders down away from your ears. And then just drop your chin to your chest. Hold it there for a few breaths. And then coming back up and you are all done. Well done.